Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. I'm Marco D'Angelo, joined by Bryan Leonard and Preston, the Sports Cheetah. We're going to head to the ACC Saturday night action. It's a big one in the ACC. A lot of people feel Duke, North Carolina is probably the equivalent to Ohio State and Michigan in football as far as rivalry goes in college basketball. And for once, it doesn't have the title going here because North Carolina's already got the top seed wrapped up in the ACC. Does that affect how you guys look at this one? Does it lose a little bit of luster there that North Carolina really doesn't have anything to play for other than the fact that they are playing with revenge from the earlier meeting at Duke?
It does have a little bit of an effect because you've got the conference tournament coming right up after this too. So they might be pointing towards that. You never know. But in this game, you know, I made. What do you think the line's going to be in this one?
We're making this one at 5.5, 6 points is around where we're seeing this one at.
I made it 7.3 with North Carolina. Not only do they have the revenge, you have them at home. So I think if it comes out at that range, I'd lean a little bit with North Carolina. I'd have to have the 2-point advantage. But you've got a team, as you pointed out, looking for a little bit of revenge, and they are coming off. Well, we'll see what happens, but they are coming off the 43 points. Was it against? Yeah. Who would ever thought that? Especially the way they took care of Virginia in that first matchup. To be hold them to 43 points is kind of ridiculous. So I'm assuming they're going to be a little bit up for this game.
For sure. And Preston, you know, I know I'm the situational guy. Maybe you not as much. Do you think that North Carolina went into Virginia just a little bit overconfident after as easy as that win was, and the fact that it was just a couple games ago, it was a quick turnaround game, and the fact that they had North Carolina on deck.
Or Duke. On deck, yeah, I was actually going to make that comparison when you were talking about if it loses some of its luster. I think if North Carolina was playing Virginia right before the conference tournament started and they already had the one locked up, which was the case a couple days ago, and you saw them lay an egg at Virginia. Against Duke, a team they did lose to, that's the rivalry game, and now they're coming off of this loss to Virginia where they only scored 43. I definitely don't think you're going to see a flat UNC team that doesn't care. So I probably would lean on them too if it came in kind of lower under that 6 number. But I'm going to need, usually it's 2 to 3 points, like Bryan mentioned, a bucket to actually make make a play. The one thing I will look at is the total. If I recall, I bet the second half of this total in their first matchup, and I believe it was an over because it started really slow, and it was actually very similar to the way the Florida State Duke game played out last night. For people that were following, it was like 12-10 halfway through the first half, and I bet an in-game over in the 130s that didn't even get that close. So that's something else I'm going to look at for Duke, North Carolina, if they do start slow, or maybe if the total pregame comes out lower than it did just a couple weeks ago and there's some value there, I might actually end up being on the over in the total.
Yeah, it's funny that you go there because that's where I'm going with this one. The meeting in that first one, the total was 164.5. They landed at 164, just went under the total. But the situation is, I think because of the low-scoring game we saw on Monday night, you might get a little bit of an overreaction to the total. And I'm looking at it with nothing to play as far as North Carolina goes. And being that this game is at 8 o'clock at night, Duke still has a shot to finish second in the conference. Depends on what happens tonight with some games with some other teams and what happens Saturday afternoon. But by game time, Duke might already be shut out of the number 2 spot. So you might have 2 teams that have nothing really to play for and have the conference tournament coming up in a few days. And Bryan, as we like to look at, like in football, when you have a game that doesn't mean anything, generally what's going to take the day off is going to be the defense. It takes more energy and more effort to play defense, and I think these two teams just might have one of those games where they just go up and down the court, and we know North Carolina, after only scoring 43 points the other night, we know they're going to come out focused to score some points here. I'm leaning to the over. I'm hoping we get a couple points off of what it was the last meeting for an over adjustment from what happened Monday night, and I'll look to the over in this one as well. And again, that's one of those ones that, like you said, I'll probably play pregame, take it over, and if the game starts slow and I get an adjusted in-game number, I might come in and fire a second bet if I get a really good juicy number. Bryan, you got an opinion on this one?
Yeah, depending on the line. Like I said, it looks like I'll be probably on the favorite in this one.
I lean the favorite if I took the favorite as well.
Yeah, I agree. I really do think I am going to end up playing an over. Anything, the 150, 159.5 to 161.5 is going to be a few points short, and I just think it sets up nicely. So, yeah, over for me in this spot.
All right, guys. Don't forget, you can save $10 on any package this week at Wager Talk. Just use coupon code UFC209. That's UFC209. Use that $10 coupon on any package you want. You can even use it on the Weekend All Access. Remember, the Weekend All Access, just $59. Gets you Thursday through Sunday. All plays from your favorite capper. Pick which capper you want to jump on board and get everything through Sunday for $59. We'll be back with more here at Wager Talk.